Okay, we are going to interview. I am Callie Hudson,
Cassie Manis.
and we are going to get to know our team by sitting an hour in someone else's desk. So, Cassie, tell me about a story that was a great learning experience for you.
Okay, in high school, I had a history teacher, Miss Scioli. She still teaches there. And she taught me Paideia 2 years in a row, the history side. And the English teacher was like, not so good. So I think it made her look so much better. But she was so energetic, and she was always sharing like personal stories, which made us connect with her more. She was also dating the school cop, so we kind of got to see their relationship. But she was always excited about what we were doing next, no matter what it was. She would be like, World War II! And it would be like the most exciting day of the semester. Whatever we were doing, it was fun. And she was so good at leading discussions.
Okay.
She was constantly asking us questions about
Okay, so
more learning.
tell me about the worst learning experience you've had.
Okay, the worst one was a history class too, and it was history of the ancient world. And there was like this really old man who taught it, and he stood at a podium for 50 minutes every day and lectured at us. And I wrote down everything he said, and the only good thing that came out of it was that I learned how to take notes, because I had to look back at my crazy notes from that day and like highlight what was actually important.
Awesome.
Yeah. It was good. Okay, Callie. What was your best learning experience?
My best learning experience was my history teacher in high school, who was also my tennis coach. And he was pretty crazy too. He got to know the students really well, and he had a great relationship with us, so he always felt comfortable to just be real honest and say, you know, whatever was happening. And the thing that made him so good is that he was teaching history, but really he was like teaching us critical thinking at the same time. It was like an AP class. It was the first AP class that the school had ever offered, so none of us really knew like how to write IDs and how to do like long essays, short essays, things like that. So he was teaching European history, but he was like more like teaching us how to write in like a college way.
So did it help you at Wake?
Yeah, it helped a lot. In fact, I still like go. When I was a freshman, I would send him some of my essays sometimes to be like, hey, is this good? Just because I didn't really know how to write very well in like a academic way. Like I could write an essay that was creative writing, but not as much the things that we needed for school.
For college.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the worst learning experience?
My worst learning experience was my senior English teacher. She was very concrete in what she expected written work to look like, and there was no room for any variance. I mean, obviously, like, you could pick your own topic, but it had to be structured the exact way she wanted it, and, like, your sentences sort of had to sound similar to what she would say.
So did she model that?
Yeah, she would, like, no, maybe she didn't model it, because I never read anything she wrote. I just know that, like, when I wrote, it had to sound like Miss Kennedy was talking if she was to read the essay out loud.
So it was like your thoughts, but her words.
In her words. Like, she didn't want you to be, there was no individualism to anything that we would write. Like, my paper should have basically been the same thing that the person beside me was writing.
So like squash creative thinking.
Yeah. She was not, I think that mostly, like, I had been with Mr. Clark, my good teacher before, so it was like, oh, like, you're teaching me all these ideas, how to think, and then she was like, no, this is how you're going to think. So it was, like, more of a, like, a, you know, bad experience.
Yeah.
That's us.
Awesome.
Goodbye.